Hello, my name is Heather McKee Hurwitz. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Sociology at Case Western Reserve University, and I am going to tell you a little bit about my project on teaching sociology to prepare students for the MCAT and beyond. This is a project funded by USITE and a NORD grant, and I'm very thankful to them for that. I am also thankful to Ananya Sarkar, a graduate student who has been assisting me with the project, and also undergraduate student Gloria Lee, who has been another research assistant on the project. The presentation I'll give you today will cover these points: the problem that the project addresses, an overview of the project, some of my early project findings, a few of the deliverables, and my future plans. First, the problem. Faculty in biochemistry, biology, chemistry, math, physics, they're all very experienced with training students for the MCAT. For the first time in 2015, the Association of American Medical Colleges that produces the test added the social and behavioral science section to the MCAT. Yet there are extremely few resources, collaborative learning exercises, or detailed guides to assist sociology instructors to teach MCAT test takers. It's very new, and there has not been a store of materials developed over time. There's still a lot of us who are getting familiar with the MCAT itself. Individual instructors must develop these materials on their own. This has led to significant unevenness in what is taught and how it is taught, both at Case Western and around the nation. This project began with my personal experience as a sociology instructor and the challenges that I had in preparing students for the MCAT. The vast majority of students in my Sociology 101 class are pre-med, and Sociology 101 is a recommended course for the pre-health track. But I felt that I needed to know better teaching techniques to prepare these students. So I developed this project. The project aligns with USITE's goals to involve students in participatory learning, creative and innovative teaching techniques, and to think beyond the possible. Our slogan here at Case Western. And I'm seeking to do this by collaborating with students to use MCAT prep, not as a way just to learn flashcards of key sociological terms, but really develop their critical sociological thinking to prepare them for careers in medical fields. And I think that this intention is shared among faculty members in the Department of Sociology. We're always thinking ahead to developing the whole student for careers in medical fields and many other fields. But we need to also pay some attention to the MCAT, a test that definitely stresses out many of our students, and they want to look to us as faculty members to support them in this major hurdle on their career, toward medical fields. The project addresses these concerns by completing a literature review of existing MCAT guides and questions, focus groups, and 19 people have participated so far. We have 2 additional focus groups we'd like to run in the next couple of months. Here are some of the questions we asked in the focus groups. How do instructors currently prepare students for the MCAT? What readings, activities, other kind of curriculum are useful already for pre-health career students? And how does sociology matter for students with these aspirations in the careers of medical fields? Here are some of our early project findings: what to teach and what to learn, organizational diversity, teaching strategies, and some collaborative activities. So first, on the topic of what to teach and what to learn, we found that instructors who participated in the focus groups are teaching about health disparities, about the social determinants of health. They're using rich ethnographic stories about patients and caregivers. These are excellent sources that we plan to pass on to instructors widely. And most medical school curriculum does not address this social model of health. So this is a very important orientation for sociology instructors to know that they're really making a difference by teaching that social model of health to students who will go on to medical fields. So Rich, a student who we spoke with, actually shows there's a bit of a disconnect between what students think and what they want to learn and with their instructors. So Rich says, I went through the 300-page document from the Khan Academy. It didn't work for me. I used an old version of Princeton Review that I bought for $3 from a bookstore. In Quizlet, I found somebody's notes and flashcards, and they were useful while walking around the library, around campus. I kept my nose down, flipping through the flashcards digitally. I have never taken a sociology class in high school or college, but one of my majors was political science. The biggest thing for me was what they expect of you and how that's going to appear on the test. So I like this quote because I think it explains some of the phenomena we've seen around campus. Some students buried in their phones. They very well may be studying for the MCAT as they're walking by you. But this also speaks to the real urgency that students feel, and to really train them in a sociology class, we need to be addressing some of those basic nuts and bolts from the prep materials. And maybe students are not even going to engage in sociology classes. They might be learning this on their own. I think that's definitely a challenge, and thinking about it this way is something instructors need to take into account. We did have one instructor share with us that she encouraged her students to keep a running list of terms and concepts in their MCAT study, and then she devoted at least one class day, and if needed, multiple class days to going over those terms in person with her students. And this was a way to really show her students that she was connected with them and understanding what they were going through in trying to prepare for the MCAT. We also learned from the focus groups part of the unevenness in the field around preparing students for medical careers and the MCAT is organizational diversity. There's a range of pre-med programs in which sociologists are working. Several medical sociology courses may be offered at some institutions, but only one or two at others. And in introduction to sociology classes, some focus on the MCAT, but others focus on a much more broad sociological training without a real focus on medical school. So these findings point to some critical thinking about curriculum and another opportunity for instructors to work with students to develop coursework that will serve the population, perhaps even adding additional medical sociology courses to meet this new need that students have to build up their sociological knowledge before they get into medical school. Roger, a faculty member who we spoke with, spoke about various classes and curriculums. He says, I've taught medical sociology classes as a one semester, but also as a year-long course. I've taught it in the classroom, but I've taught a second semester in the hospital, doing research with students to see how is this community hospital different from an academic hospital. And also in some institutions and universities, medical sociology might be its own major. So we're talking about maybe 10 to 15 courses in a very designed major laid out for students who really want to make this their focus of their undergraduate careers. And our third preliminary finding is around the teaching strategies and collaborative activities that these focus groups have generated. So instructors take a variety of approaches. In general, there's agreement that quantitative and qualitative reasoning skills is one area to continue to develop curriculum. And we found that these skills are crucial to the everyday work of physicians and nurses, such as the moment when our students right now will be working in the field and need to inform patients of options for care or explain accurately the risks for various health procedures. And a lot of their training in sociology and statistics will assist them in explaining their patients' lives to them much more rigorously and comprehensively. So Bernadette offers a privilege exercise for how to build some of these reasoning skills. She says, in a course we do a privilege exercise. You all start off on a circle and then take a step forward or back, depending if you are privileged in that area or not. If you have insurance, for example, or not, and other things. That really has to be debriefed because some students, the realization hits them really hard. They didn't realize how disadvantaged they were or how privileged they were. This is a wonderful and powerful collaborative activity that faculty members can engage in with their students around a range of topics in medical sociology, such as do you have insurance? Do you have family members who work in medical fields? Do you have parents or people who are around you who understand medical vocabulary? They've taken courses, they read in this topic, or do you not have that cultural health capital? And an exercise like this could be very eye-opening for those students going on to careers in medicine. Another activity James suggests another faculty member is the zip code exercise. He says, one thing I do is there's a generator online and you can put in your zip code and it will generate your life expectancy. For example, in Baltimore, it's really striking because 2 miles away from downtown, life expectancy is 15 to 18 years different. And the kids are from all over the country. That kind of draws them in. They're like, I wonder what my life expectancy is where I came from. And then we move into, well, so what impacts them? What are these social things? I have them generate that analysis that begins to get into how social factors influence something like mortality. So here we have James working with his students, kind of being a guide to them through a learning experience where they discover a range of different aspects of how the social life influences their life expectancy and health outcomes. And in short, we like to say in sociology, zip code can impact your health more than genetic code. So learning those social factors is very important, and this can be a wonderful exercise for even introduction to sociology instructors to add into their curriculum to serve the needs of those medical school hopefuls in their classes. As far as deliverables, already this project has generated a newsletter article. The conference presentation, similar to this PowerPoint, was actually canceled. Unfortunately, a medical humanities conference that really is doing the work of bridging fields like sociology and medicine. Hopefully that will happen at a future date. Here's just a flash of that newsletter article in the medical sociology newsletter. Great interest in the field of sociology in this study, and I expect the study and its outcomes will continue to be used by sociologists widely. Here are our future plans that those sociologists will, I'm sure, be interested in. We plan to complete focus groups and include even more students who are just now preparing for the MCAT. We plan to wrap up a literature review and annotated bibliography of existing MCAT sociology materials. To our knowledge, there is no repository for these materials at the moment, and this is also contributing to that unevenness in the field, that these materials are not in an accessible and set location without guidance for instructors about which materials might be useful for their classes. This will be one of the outcomes of the project. We are also going to create a database of classroom materials and classroom activities, such as the activities that we talked about that Bernadette and James suggested, and there are many others. We are also going to generate a teaching activity and lecture outline based on the findings from this, an original teaching activity and lecture that encompasses the whole of what we've learned from this project. And in the future, we plan to write up the results of the focus groups in a more comprehensive publication, one that can go beyond the newsletter article that we've already generated. Thank you so much for listening to my synopsis of this ongoing project. Thank you to USITE and the Nord Grant for supporting this research, and thank you also to the Case Western Reserve University Department of Sociology that has also been very supportive of this project. Any questions or concerns, I'm happy to speak with you. Again, this project is ongoing, and I look forward to learning more about the MCAT and any questions or feedback that you have as far as how to really bring students into and collaboratively learn with them to prepare them for the MCAT and also their careers in medical fields. Thank you so much.